four of them, they'll get a group incentive. It is not that individual what they'll be getting here. So the second is the workers comprising a group possesses the same type of skills and ability. Now what happens is very honest, loyal, and they have contributed their work in the organization, they will get a share of profit. This much product you are supposed to produce, that is, they would have given them target, and the entire day they used to only Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Abhilash Chandra from the Department of Commerce and Management in Vidyashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome to all the students for the 7th session of incentive plans. Now in this session, I'm going to teach more about the group incentive plan. Usually in the individual incentive plan, what exactly used to happen is an individual used to perform, and according to his performance, his incentives were calculated. But here what happens in the group incentive is the group performance is calculated and then it is measured, and again when we go for the bonus allocation, what happens is the group ability, that is what is measured in the group incentive plan. It is like a lump sum which the management gives to the group. Now here we need to understand on what basis we go with group incentive plans. The first you are supposed to know is there are few of the works which we cannot estimate, that is the individual performance, how much an individual has done. Say example, there are 4 people. Now when we have 4 person here and one of the person is doing really good, the 3 are not doing, but that one person is dependent upon these 3 people. Now what happens is we need to give them some bonus because they are the one who have helped the first person to perform. Now this is the criteria where the 4 of them, they'll get a group incentive. It is not that individual what they'll be getting here. So that means dependency and interdependency will be calculated in the group incentive plan. So what exactly the types of group incentive plans are, we'll be discussing in this session. And we can also say that the group incentive plans, in majority of the management, they use it. The reason here is they cannot go with more of clerical activity accordance with the individual incentive plans. That's the reason they go with group incentive plans. The first one here when we go with, that is, say example here, individual incentives are there. Now workers are paid on the basis of their personal performance, but in the group performance what happens is this individual will not be calculated. It is calculated on the basis of the group, what it consists and what the performance they have done. Now there may be circumstances when individual performance may not be measurable. That is the time we go with what? We go with the group incentive plans. A number of persons may be associated in completing a task. That's the reason we don't go with individual. We give a lump sum to the entire group. Now, the work of one person may be influenced by the work of other. So, under such conditions, incentives may be offered for raising group performance. Now, I told you about 4 people where one of the person is doing really good, but to do that job, 3 of them, they actually helped him. So, on what basis you people will calculate the individual incentives? You can never calculate in a proper, accurate way. That's the reason what you do is you give a lump sum and those 4 people will divide those incentives. That is the reason we go with group incentive plans. So what exactly are the suitability of group incentive plans are? The first suitability is when individual performance cannot be measured, we go with that. The second is the workers comprising a group possesses the same type of skills and ability. Now what happens is we don't need to go with more clerical is what the management feels, so they'll give it to the entire group. Third is the completion of the task is linked with collective efforts of the group. So it is not about one person, it is about the entire group. The aim is to provide incentive to indirect workers. Now, I gave an example, isn't it? We have 4 people here. Now this person is performing, but indirectly to finish a task, these three are also helping him. So that is what the criteria here it goes. Now the number of person constituting a group is not large, only then this is suitable. Now 4 people you can actually give. Say example, there are 800 workers, you cannot go with group incentives. So suitability is what? The less the number of the group, so you will actually go with the group incentive plan. Maximum is 10, the minimum is 2. That is what the group incentive plans goes with. Now criteria, what exactly the criterions of the distribution is with a group incentive? The first one is, if all the person in the group possess the same type of ability and skills, right, then bonus may be distributed equally and among them. Now sometimes what happens, I'll tell you, when in a group, let's go with, we have here 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now if you know that all the 4 people have same ability, same skill, and they are working efficiently, now what happens is you will actually divide with equal bonus. Equally you will actually go with equally. Say example, there are people who don't work, but there are people who work. Now what happens is it is difficult for you to grade whom you are supposed to pay. Instead what you do is you pay it to a group, the group will divide it. When group members are paid wages according to the same time scale, bonus is also given in the same time scale. That is what it is. See, the way they are working together, how much they are working. Now it is about, one is quality, another is quantity, and the next one is hours. Now here the way they are working, even the bonus will be given accordingly. That is what the incentive says. If workers earn different amongst the wage, then bonus may be distributed in proportion to the wage earned by them. So I'll give you an example here. When we go with the group incentive plan, it is about how well they perform. Say example, we have said that they are supposed to produce 20,000 units. Okay, 20,000 units in a month. Every month they are supposed to produce 20,000 units. Say example, one of the month they produce 16,000 units. Now what happens is they're not up to the standards. Now standard means what? Standard means it is set by the company that this is what the target you are supposed to do. Standard to 20,000 units is what you are supposed to manufacture. Now there are 4 people here. There are 4 laborers or 4 persons here. Now 16 units, that is 16,000 units they have produced. That means this is the actual. This is the actual and this is the standard. They have not touched the standard. Now still 4,000 units they are supposed to produce. Now in this particular month, they will not get the incentives. They'll not get what? Incentives. Now when will they get incentives? Is only when they meet the standard. Say example, the next month they'll meet 20,000 here. Definitely they'll get it. Next month again, it's like 18,000. They'll not get. 24,000. Now 4,000 extra they have worked. Now what happens is when they go for allocation, now it is very difficult to judge how much incentives should be given to individual. Rather what the management does is they'll give the lump sum to these people and they will only actually divide it. So that is how it happens. Now bonus may also be paid on the basis of certain percentage, that is a fixed on basis of experience, skill and the wages earned by a worker. Now say example, in this group there are here 3 people who are skilled. Here his skill and his skill. He is not skilled. Now bonus will be what? It is paid on the basis of certain percentage. That is, a person who is skilled will get 20%. A person who is not skilled, he'll get 10%. Now as well as the experience. Now this person has 10 years experience, he'll have 6 years experience, he'll have 4 years experience, he'll have 2 years experience. Again, bonus is distributed along with these criteria, that is percentage. Then we go with skilled, unskilled, all these. The next one we'll go with the experience and the way he works. So these are the things which goes with the criteria. Next is we have group incentive plans. There are how many types of plans? If anybody asks you, there are n number of plans in group incentives, but in our syllabus we have four. One is the Priestman's plan, the Scalene plan, co-partnership, and the last one is the profit sharing. Now, Priestman's plan, the word itself says Priestman's plan. Now, the priest of Hull, they used to actually calculate these type of plans. What exactly the plan is? The more you work, the more you get. It's a simple logic. Plus they go with, again they'll set something called standard. Standard is set. Actual is measured. Now when they see that the actual is meeting the standard, only then you get your incentives as a bonus. If you don't, you will not get it. If you get more than the standard, that is if you manufacture more than the standard which they have set, again how much units you have done the maximum, that much percentage you will get the bonus. That is what is called the Priestman's plan. Second is Scalene plan. Now again, a person called Joseph Scalene, now he is a person who started the Scalene plan. Next is co-partnership. When I say co-partnership, please understand it is not like a partnership where the worker and the management will come together. It is not like that. The partnership in the sense, the worker who are very honest, loyal, and they have contributed their work in the organization, they will get a share of profit from the management. Next is profit sharing. Again, it is continuity of co-partnership where the laborers will get for the sweat money, right? That is what is called the profit sharing. Now the first one is Priestman's plan. Now that means what will happen here is a standard production is fixed. That means always the standard is fixed and it is given to them. You need to do this. Target is set. Now many of the MNC company, they also use this for their employees as well, but earlier it was only used for the laborers. That is, this much hour you are supposed to work, this much product you are supposed to produce. That is, they would have given them target and the entire day they used to only finish the target. That is what the laborers were supposed to do. If productivity will be exceeded by the standard, then the bonus is paid in the accordance with the increase in the number of units. So how much number of units they have produced, that much bonus they'll actually get it. So here what happens is people will definitely reach the standard and they also want to actually get more than the standard. That means what? The working ability will be more in Priestman's plan, because the more you work, the more you will get here. In case of production that is does not reach the standard, then workers get only the wages, that is the minimum wage only they will actually get it. That means the less they go with the standard, only the wage will be given. So no bonus, no incentives. This is called the Priestman's plan. I'll give an example here. You will get to know what exactly the Priestman plan is all about. Say example here, we go with standard. And say here standards we have. So in the standards, what happens, I'll tell you. They'll give a fixed standard. It is a what? Fixed standard for a year. Now, what exactly the standard is? You are supposed to produce, say, 2 lakh units. 2 lakh units in a year. Done. Now, the workers, now there are workers here. This is the group incentive which I am calculating for you people, workers. They produce 2,40,000 units. Now that means what? 40,000 units is more. 40,000 is what? That is, it's more than the standard. Now 40,000 if you compare with 2 lakh, probably how much percent they have actually worked more? That is 2 and 4 in the sense, say 20% they have worked more. So here what it is? 20% they have worked more. That means they will get 20% bonus. On what? On the wages what they get. That is the wages plus 20% of the wages. That is called the bonus what they'll be getting it. So this is a very simple technique where the laborer will also understand, if I work more, definitely I'll also get more incentives. Very basic calculation. The more I work, the more I get. Next one we have is Scalin plan. Now in this Scalin plan, this method is named after Joseph Scalin. Now there is a payment of 1% participating bonus for every 1% increase in productivity under this plan. Now here what happens is, how much the productivity goes, that much the bonus he will get it. Now the bonus is available to all workers except top management. Now that means here you understand, when we go with Joseph, now the top management, they will not get the bonus. Apart from that, everybody, whoever works, they'll get it. This is what the Joseph Scalin plan is all. The next one is co-partnership. Now here in co-partnership, what happens is, the employees are offered shares of the enterprise at a reduced rate in this plan. So this is called as co-partnership. Second is, the payment is also collected in installments. The way the installment goes with monthly, weekly, that is how we go with the payment. The employee share profit of the enterprise has its members. How the members actually get the share of profit? The same way the employees, whoever are actually working for the organization, they will get it. The last one we have is, so profit sharing, when shareholder share profits for contributing towards the capital, then workers should also get a part of profit for contributing their labor. Now example, we have the shareholders, whoever have taken the equity shares of a company for a long duration. Now what they get is, they get the interest, right? They get the interest, as well as they go with the contribution for the capital for investments. Now here what happens is, even we have actually invested our work, time, everything for the organization. Now it is the organization who need to give us something in return. The workers are an integral part. This is what this plan says, that is, the worker are what? They are the integral part of any organization, and their contribution to its prosperity should also be rewarded. Next is this realization that employees, workers' contribution is significantly to increase profit has encouraged the adoption of this system. And here please understand that the more the employees are happy, more the workers are happy, what will happen is, the productivity will increase. If the employees or the workers are not happy, they'll not go for productivity. So the organization, the top management and the people who are in the board of directors, they should always see to it that employees' needs are fulfilled. If the needs are fulfilled, then what happens is, the employees will work for the employer. So here profit sharing is a method of remuneration under which an employer undertakes to pay his employees a share in the net profit. From where he'll actually give? He'll give from the net profit. Not from the gross profit, from the net profit of an enterprise, in addition to regular wages. The wages he should give, but next what he will do, he'll give it in the net profit of the organization to the workers and the employees who have worked really efficient for the organization. So these are the types of group incentive plans. In the next session, I'll be taking more about these things. Thank you so much. I'll see you when I see you.